But so I'll go ahead and show the fan question here. Most of the followers of this podcast are Bengals fans. And hypothetical question: if DeVonta Smith and Penei Sewell are available at number 5, who do you personally believe the Bengals should take?
As much as I like DeVonta Smith, I'm not going to get too overhyped with him. There are still a few issues that I have with Smith, and we kind of saw that a little bit after the injury he had in the college football championship game. He's a very, very small frame, and there's a very, very good chance he can be injury prone when it comes to the NFL. As many people have, made memes and joked about it. He is a very, very small guy. He's 170 pounds, and I weigh more than him. So, very tiny. A bad hit in the NFL can completely derail his entire career. He is super fast, great, of course, great at catching the ball, great at getting open in space, has terrific speed. Everything that you like in a wide receiver, he's just not physical. He's not going to be the physical guy to get up and get the passes. He can't take the hits like a guy like AJ Green could. It's going to be a huge issue at the next level. He can easily play a good a wide receiver Z position and kind of be that Deshaun Jackson type guy for your team. I think that would be his best bet. But playing as an X in this league against guys like Richard Sherman, who are big physical corners that can really put a hit on you, that's going to be an issue for him. So I personally, right now, I think, especially in the Bengals position, having such a huge need of offensive line, Penei still makes a lot more sense because, Cincinnati just lost Joe Burrow for the entire season in the middle of last year due to the poor play of the offensive line. We do know that they have two guys that they like in Jonah Williams and Trey Hopkins who can be future O-lineman members. But at the same time, getting that next offensive lineman, that next best offensive lineman, if you ask me, is key to having a successful offense because you don't just need two good guys. You need 3 or 4 really good guys and a guy that can, possibly bring in there as an average one just to have a solid O-line at the next level. I think if Cincinnati wants to ever be playoff contenders, you kind of need to get a guy like Penei Sewell to possibly play your next tackle position next to Jonah Williams, and maybe even sign a guy like Joe Thuney in free agency just to really kind of lock up that offensive line for the future. And I think, the Bengals, this has been their demons for the last several years, ever since losing Whitworth and Zeitler to free agency. So get it solved this year, sign a guy like Joe Thuney, draft a guy like Penei Sewell, and you're good.
Yeah, I think the way DeVonta Smith played the last couple of games, I think it is debatable, but I think you still have to take Penei Sewell because, you have Sewell left tackle, you move Jonah Williams to right tackle. That's two, very, very good tackles you have for the next decade protecting your franchise quarterback and Burrow. Those guys are both on rookie deals. And like you said, Burrow's coming off an injury with a bad offensive line. And so you have Jonah Williams at right tackle, obviously more likely Trey Hopkins at center. You sign Joe Thuney or Brandon Sheriff from Washington, and you get Penei Sewell. You go from a sucky offensive line to once you get Penei Sewell to and if you add Joe Thuney, that's not elite, but that's certainly top 12, top 15 range easily. You have to protect your franchise quarterback and Burrow. He's going to get hurt. He already got hurt once. DeVonta Smith, I'm a big fan of him. Personally, before the college football playoff started, I was a fan of Kyle Pitts at number 5 or trade back if Sewell's gone and get Pitts like 8 or 9, something like that. But the way DeVonta Smith played the last couple of games, I wouldn't be upset if we were to draft him at number 5 unless Penei Sewell's available. If Sewell was available at number 5, I would personally take him. But if he's gone at 5, I have no issues taking DeVonta Smith. The thing with taking Sewell against DeVonta Smith, the wide receiver class is so good. So if you take DeVonta Smith number 5, obviously you're not going to take another receiver in the second round. If you take Sewell number 5, if he's available, you still have the opportunity to possibly get Kadarius Toney, Moore from Purdue, or possibly even Chris Olave from Ohio State. All 3 of those guys are very good wide receivers. And if you pair one of those 3 receivers with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, it's a really nice young trio. Tyler Boyd is on a good, decent contract. We did not overpay him at all. T. Higgins is on a rookie deal. Obviously, that rookie receiver being on a rookie deal as well. And with Sewell, I just think it's a more pressing need. I know in the draft you draft best player available, but there's times you kind of have to go in between best player available and your team need. But personally, I would take Sewell at number 5. But if DeVonta Smith is available and Sewell is already drafted, I have no issues taking DeVonta Smith.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you said, and I also think you brought up a really good point talking about the round 2 receivers. We saw this last year. The top 3 guys were considered to be Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, and Henry Ruggs. But I mean, you look at the best receivers in the class that year: Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Chase Claypool. Those are second round guys. Not well. Justin Jefferson was a first round guy, but they were the second tier receivers afterwards. And so this year, you get guys like Chris Olave, Terrace Marshall, Rondale Moore, as you mentioned, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kadarius Toney, a lot of guys in the second wave that can be very, very effective again this year. And I mean, I would gladly take another T. Higgins on my team if I could get him in the second round. So I'm not going to complain with that. So I definitely agree. I think there's a lot of value in going wide receiver round 2, maybe instead of going wide receiver round 1 and taking offensive line round 2. It just, I get why it makes a lot of sense. And if Penei Sewell's not there, then I think it makes a lot more sense, of course. But if Sewell is there, getting the second best prospect in the draft at pick 5 and then getting a top tier wide receiver round 2 just makes a lot more sense to me.
So at 5 is available. The wide receivers I mentioned, the wide receivers you mentioned, is there any wide receiver you prefer at our second round pick?
There's a lot of guys I like at round 2. I think number 1 on my board right now that I would consider at pick 37 would be Chris Olave, the wide receiver from Ohio State. I think the Bengals are in need of a guy with long speed and get down that field very quickly and make some deep catches. And I think Olave really fits that kind of term. He is similar to Smith in the aspect that he doesn't have the biggest frame, but he's not the tallest guy either, but he can get down the field very, very quickly and be a deep threat for this team at the next level. Again, another guy, Terrace Marshall, they're basically the exact same player in my eyes. Terrace Marshall is a little bit bigger and can probably a little bit slower than Olave, and we'll have to see in the combine how that works out. And I think the combine really decide for me who's the better prospect between those two guys. But again, another guy with not the fastest guy, but has good long speed, can get down the field very quickly. Those are the two guys, in my opinion, that are at the top of my board. I can see a guy like Toney as well, being a very good option. I think he is not only a very good gadget guy, but he also can go down the field if needed, extremely fast and a very, very dangerous punt returner. As with the hype I'm seeing from Toney, it wouldn't surprise me if he maybe sneaks into the first round, which might be a bit of an issue. So, I think right now expecting Olave and Terrace Marshall to be there, and I think it makes a lot of sense between those two guys.
I prefer Toney. I'll kind of shorten it. I prefer Toney. He reminds me. He reminds me everything the Bengals wish they had in John Ross. He's a really speedster wide receiver. I mean, he's not the greatest in just catching, but the thing that makes him so explosive is that he has yards after the catch, and that he's so talented. I mean, I really, really like him. If he's not available, I have no issues taking Chris Olave in the second round. But to me, it's going to be really interesting to see with Kadarius Toney with his 40-yard dash, because you look at KJ Hamler, the Broncos last year, his 40-yard dash really underwhelms people. I thought it would have been a lot better. He dropped in the middle of the second round, and he actually could have been a first-round pick if it was for a better 40-yard dash. Look at Jalen Reagor. He didn't have a great 40-yard. I think he had a pretty good one. That's why he moved up some, as the Eagles reached him there. But to me, I think Toney could have a possible very, very good 40-yard dash. And I think when it's all said and done, I think hopefully a top 20 pick. I don't think there's any chance the Bengals will get him in round 2. But if he's there in round 2, I'm pretty much dead set on taking Toney.